Let's talk about making varsity as a freshman because parents love the idea of it, but nobody wants to say the real truth out loud. Making varsity as a freshman is rare, not impossible, not mythical, just rare. And how big the school is does matter. A freshman at a 3A school in Texas or a freshman at a private school in North Carolina has a much better chance than a freshman at a 6A powerhouse. That's just numbers. More players, more depth, more competition. Now, if your son does make varsity, that's great. Celebrate it. But don't get it twisted. It comes with challenges. First, the talent part. I'm not talking about my kid hit two balls hard last summer talent. I'm talking varsity ready talent, the kind that survives against 17 and 18-year-old young men with real size, strength, velocity, beards. If your son can do that at 14, respect, but that's the exception. Second, maturity. Most freshmen aren't physically or mentally ready for a varsity dugout. The game is faster, the pressure's heavier, the margin for error is tiny, and nobody talks about the kids who make varsity just to sit the entire season and quietly lose confidence. Third, opportunity. Sometimes the position that gets your son on varsity isn't his primary position, and that's not a knock on him, that's reality. If the senior shortstop is locked in but left field is open, guess where your son's playing? And if he wants varsity early, he's got to be willing to go where the opportunity is, not where his ego wants him to be or your ego wants him to be. Fourth, unless he's a pitcher, hitting is the fastest path to varsity. If you hit, you won't sit is 100% true. Coaches will always make room for a bat, no matter your grade or your position. And fifth, politics. Sometimes a coach pulls up a freshman because he sees long-term value. Sometimes because of depth, injuries, or just rebuilding. But here's the truth. Sometimes your son is better off being the dude on JV instead of a ghost on varsity. You don't get better watching, you get better by playing. And sixth, the work. Making varsity as a freshman isn't a trophy, it's a responsibility. He's competing against guys who've been in the weight room for years, guys who've been through heartbreak, guys who are trying to get recruited. Freshmen who make varsity don't talk about being different. They are different, consistent, strong, focused, coachable. And here's something parents don't want to hear. College coaches don't care if your kid made varsity as a freshman. They care what he looks like at 16, 17, and 18. Recruitable at 17 beats varsity at 14 every day of the week. So stop tying your kid's value to a roster decision made in March of his freshman year. Stop comparing him to the boy down the street. Stop acting like JV is a failure. Or the freshman team. Some of the best college players I've ever coached didn't touch the varsity field until junior year. The real win is raising a kid who doesn't flinch, who handles adversity, who works whether he's the youngest on varsity or the best player on JV, a kid who falls in love with the process, not the label. Varsity is one chapter, not the whole story, and your son is still writing his.